Hello and welcome to today's grammar video. This time we're going to focus on future time clauses. Let's start. Before we start with the time clauses, I would like to point out that future time clauses have two parts. Like any other sentence where you use a clause, we have the main sentence, which needs a verb in future. And then we have the future time clause. And this clause uses a verb in present simple. Okay, now let's look at the way these kind of sentences need to be written. First, we write the main sentence and we write it this way. We start out with the subject of the sentence. Then we use the auxiliary will. After that, we use the verb in infinitive. And lastly, we use an object. The second part of this sentence is formed with a future time clause. And this clause begins with a time expression, which we will review in a moment. Then we write the subject. The verb in the future time clause is always in present simple. And as usual, in the last part, we write the object of the verb. Here's an example to illustrate what I have just said. Here is the main sentence. Tom will go fishing. And as you can see, the main verb is in the form of the future with will. Then we write the future time clause. This time clause will always start with a time phrase. In the example, the time phrase is when. Next, we write the subject, the verb in present simple. And in the last position is the object of the verb, a holiday. Now, like with any other type of clause, we can exchange the position of the future time clause at the beginning or at the end. Look at the example. We can start with the main sentence. Patricia will have a coffee and then the time clause before she starts work. Or we can write the time clause first and say, before Patricia starts work, she will have a coffee. Now, don't forget to separate the time clause from the main sentence with a comma when you write the time clause first. Okay, as I said before, we have to start the future time clause with a time expression. We will use when, after, not until, and as soon as to introduce the first event in the sentence. So, the example says, as soon as I finish eating, I will get back to work. This means that the first thing I'm going to do is finish eating, and the second activity is to go back to work. Here we have the time expressions we can use to introduce an event that needs to happen second. These expressions are before, until, and by the time. Check out the example. By the time you get home, dinner will be ready. Because we use by the time, we know that you get home is the second activity to happen, and that dinner will be ready before you get home. Let's move on to the last time expression, and this is while. We use while to explain that the two activities happen at the same time. In the example, while Tommy studies, he will watch TV. This sentence means that Tommy watches TV at the same time that he will study, although this is not a good thing to do. Anyway, this is all for now. Get on now with the exercise to practice this grammar point, and good luck.